Thank you. Okay, hello, welcome everyone. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but I think we're good now. We are recording today's Care Services meeting, and this is our December Care Services meeting. So on behalf of our chapter, we want to wish everyone just a very happy holidays. We hope everyone's doing well. And as always, we're always here for you. You can always contact any one of us. Keith Miller is always the familiar name and face, but he's playing Santa Claus today, as he often does, with many deliveries and home visits. And so I'm covering for Keith today for today's Care Services meeting. My name is Melissa McElvain. I'm the Associate Director of Development. So I'm on the fundraising side of what our staff does to provide programs and services. And I've been with the chapter for about 2 years. So it's a pleasure being with all of you today. Today's topic is around wheelchair accessible vans and mobility. And so we have a very special guest speaker today, who is Sean Peterson, who's the General Manager of Golden Boy Mobility. And Golden Boy Mobility has been a trusted partner of the ALS Association Greater San Diego chapter. And we really just are so grateful for the services, the expertise, the resources that they're able to provide our ALS community. So we invited Sean to join us today to talk about this whole world of wheelchair accessible vans, timing, the process, how to really go about and dive into this industry and this resource. So I'd like to share a little bit of information real quick before I turn it over to Sean. For further resources and more information about Golden Boy Mobility, you can visit their website, which is super easy, goldenboymobility.com. So definitely get on their website. It's a great resource. You can click around and learn more about them. And once again, that is just simply goldenboymobility.com. Or you can call their store as well, which they're located in the Poway area. And their phone number is 858-375-4676. So I'll repeat that one more time as well.
I'll repeat
that wrong?
it. Yep, that's wrong. That's okay.
That's wrong, my bad.
Nope, you're good. It's 858-748-9414, and that's 858-748-9414. That's probably one of Melissa's, something that she was shopping for Christmas or something. So don't call that and find out what it is.
Well, it was I got it from your website, so maybe we should take a look at that.
Oh yeah, I'll have to look and see what it is.
So yeah, so thank you, Sean, so much for joining us today. Really appreciate everything you do for our chapter and for our community, and we just love to hear more from you as an expert in this area, and just some tools and some information that might be helpful for all of us to learn today.
Sure, and I really appreciate it, and we're so happy to be able to support you and support all of your members. And, we know that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of change, a lot of process, and within the home, within caregiving, within just everything. And there's a lot to deal with. And so, the very first thing that people think about when they think about buying a car is, oh man, this is going to be a rough process, car salesman, that kind of stuff. And so we want to assure you what our goal is to be able to help you. And, at the end of the day, we want to be able to find ways to continue with your mobility and be able to get you to do the things that you want to do for longer as those changes happen in your life. And, we want to be there to guide you and help you through that process, and let you make the right decision for you and for your family at that time. So, at the beginning, before we even get into the actual vehicle itself, I just wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about what the process is, so you know what to expect, maybe some tips of what not to do, before going into this. So, I always urge you, before you need it, before it's the last minute, come and talk to us. And the process really is you sit down and you meet with a mobility consultant, and we find out what your family's needs are, what your family's budget is, where you're looking, what you're looking for, timing, all of that stuff. And we try to help you with that. And we urge you, don't go out and just buy a car and say, hey, can you guys, fix this? Can you make it, put a ramp on it or do that? Let us help you through that process. Because we have seen where people have bought a car that can't be converted, or they bought one that is too old, too new, whatever else. And so we want to guide you through that, help you find the most reliable vehicle that's out there for you, cost effective, etc. You know, with ALS too, and understanding what it is, and you know, I wish we had that crystal ball to be able to figure out timing wise of how much time that we have available, how long we're going to need these vans, and you know, we don't know that, and so we want to know that, let you know that you're, you know, we're a partner here for you throughout the whole process from start to finish. If you're looking for something for a new vehicle, a used vehicle, and kind of walk you through that. So first steps is really to sit down and meet with a mobility consultant, and we're going to find out what your needs are, again, what your, you know, financial situation is, and how can we help fit those categories and help do that. Then once we do that, the second part is finding out if the vehicle actually fits. So what people don't realize is that there are different vans that are available that have different interior space, different height requirements, different things like that. So understanding what type of wheelchair that you're in, what type of wheelchair you might be getting, what equipment you have, that kind of stuff is also pretty important. So we match that to what's going to work for you. You know, if you're tall and you're sitting in your wheelchair and you're 56 inches tall and you were to try to ride in a Honda, for example, the Honda itself is only 55 inches door opening. So you're not going to fit. So you may be looking at the wrong vehicle. So that's the kind of information that we sit down and try to figure out with you and find out what are your needs first, and then kind of go from there. And then once we do that, you know, at the end of the day, this is a vehicle that you're going to be using. We want you to be in something that you care about, that you're comfortable with, that your loved one wants to, you know, ride around in, and we want you to enjoy it and kind of talk to you about that and figure out what trim levels, what's important to you. So that's really kind of the process. And we want to help you with everything. So, you know, if you were to go to your own bank, a lot of times they have no idea what a handicap accessible vehicle is. How do you fund that? How do you get loans for that? So we're going to help you through that entire. You know, I do get a lot of questions, especially on the ALS side, is what happens when we don't need this vehicle? What happens in 5 years? What do we do? You know, these are expensive. This is a big expense, and what do we do? And so our promise to you is that we're going to help you throughout that process. So if it is something that you purchase, we're going to look at purchasing that vehicle back for you. You know, we're going to make sure that we get you a fair price value. We can look at what those options are. And we can really sit down and look at that and say, okay, if we were to buy a brand new vehicle in 3 years or 5 years, what's that vehicle worth? Or if we were to purchase a different vehicle. So those are all the things that we're going to go over with you, because our goal is the same as yours, is to be able to find something that fits your needs, fits your budget, and really helps you to be able to get out and do the things that you want to do. So that is a big question that I get. And so I wanted to make sure that we address that. Sorry, I'm going to check my notes here on just a couple of things before we run out and kind of go and look at that. Well, I think yeah, absolutely.
So I know it's a big decision to purchase one of these vans. Before buying a van, is there a way to test one out? Or, you know, can you talk about how you can test out the vehicle and if it's the right fit and the right timing for a family? And then also maybe like renting versus purchasing. I guess those were kind of two questions I know that I've asked you about before. That was really helpful.
Yeah, those are great questions. So we typically have at least one or two of every different type of vehicle on our lot. Obviously things change, and right now with the chip shortage, things are absolutely insane. But that, you know, if you were to come see us, that's part of what we would do when we sit down and look at that, is we have multiple different options of different vehicles. So you can look at them, touch them, feel them. So you don't have to go to the Honda dealership to look at a Honda, Toyota dealership to find a Toyota. So we're kind of a one-stop shop. And that's our goal, is to get you in and out, make sure that it fits you right, let you test drive it, and kind of do that. Rental side.
You're freezing up just a little bit right now.
Rental has gone up. Typically it's about 20.
Sean, can you go back to the rental piece? Because you just froze there for a little bit.
No problem. So on the rental side, you know, that's definitely an option. But with the way that things are right now, rentals are definitely getting more and more expensive, getting more limited. Typically, the rental cost is around $125 a day, plus pickup and delivery charges and anything ancillary charges. So, depending on where it is and what the availability is, it could be 150, it could be $175 a day. So as you start looking at that, that's pretty expensive. At the end of the day, 2 or 3 days, and that's a month's payment on a vehicle. So, we also want to guide you through that and make sure that you make the right decision. So, but that is an option. And typically when you look at some of these rentals, most of the rentals aren't going to be a lot of the high-end rentals, some of the different, trim levels. Typically rentals are kind of more in this, like kind of a budget style vehicle. And so, if you want to have your option, say, oh, I'd like to rent a Toyota with sunroof and this, so I can get really have a few days with it, that may be limited. So, but it is still a good option if you really want to see if it's something that's going to work and you need. But just so you have an understanding of what that cost is. Unfortunately, it's not $35 a day like a regular rental car. So with that being said, I'm going to take you out to vehicle. What I'd like to do is really just kind of go over some things. And this is just a brief description so you have a better understanding of what goes into the vehicle. And I'm actually going to grab Johnny here, who's one of my mobility consultants. Johnny, I see you're eating some chips. So if you don't mind, would you join me?
I sure am. A little warning would have been nice, but that's okay. We believe in this fun name. It's very nice.
So Johnny's one of our mobility consultants. And at the end of the day, like I said, you're going to meet with one of our mobility consultants. He's here to help you. He's here to walk you through that process, try to figure out what's the best solution for you. And that's really his goal. So we're all a team here. We care about you, care about each other. And so, I just wanted to introduce you to at least one of our team members before we kind of go and look at one of these vehicles. So
awesome. If you guys want any chips, come on over. We'll go through everything.
That looks fantastic, by the way.
It's a nice little spread. That's why I like the shape of this desk. It allows me to do many things, which is nice.
So Johnny, if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of cruise over to the vehicle and kind of discuss that a little bit.
So note to everyone, if you're going to stop by Golden Boy Mobility, do it around lunchtime and then they'll have snacks.
It helps. It's the little things,
Right.
And, one of my favorite jokes is, we promise that when you come over, we won't have a chip on our shoulder in case you do. So I just wanted to.
He's a dad now, so that joke gets a pass. Just want to let you guys know.
Such a dad joke.
I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit. And when you look at a wheelchair accessible vehicle, there's a lot more that goes into the conversion than what you think. Most people just think, oh, well, just, you get a minivan and you put a ramp in it and, that's fine. So, but it really doesn't work that way. So this is where the floor of the minivan actually used to be. And so let me try to open the center door here. So if you look here, this is where the door actually used to be. So in doing that, we've lowered the floor almost 14 inches in this vehicle, and that's going to give you enough of that headroom to be able to get in or out in that wheelchair. And so as you can see, the center seats have been removed. And so that gives you enough access to be able to get in and turn with your wheelchair. And then if you look here too, both of these seats, both the front driver and passenger seat, are actually on wheels and can be removable. So what that means is you have the ability to be able to sit in a passenger position, driver position, center position. So there's a lot of different options that are available for you to be able to get around in your wheelchair. Depending on where you are, in your stage of ALS, if you're still transferring well, there are options to be able to change this seat out and put a seat that comes back, turn sideways and transfer. So you can transfer into that seat. So again, these are all things that we are going to go over with you to be able to figure out what your current needs are and what's going to work best for you. But as you can see, when you look at it, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So the whole floor has been lowered. So that means the whole floor has actually been removed, cut out, gas tanks moved, all of that. So when it comes to what goes into a conversion, that's why there's so much, and that's why these vehicles are so expensive. What you have here and what you see here, this is a lower floor VMI conversion that's got an in-floor ramp. And so when the door closes, the ramp goes in, it actually goes underneath the floor. There's no obstruction. There's no ramp in the doorway. So if you have other family members getting in and out of the van, it's free and clear to be able to get in and out. Door closes and you would have no idea that there's actually it's an accessible vehicle. So when you look at these vehicles, they're great looking. It doesn't have a big sticker on the side that says, hey, I'm a handicap accessible vehicle. And I know that's, that's been one of the things that a lot of our customers said, I don't want to drive around with the big flag saying that this is an accessible vehicle. So when you see it without the ramp in, it doesn't look like an accessible vehicle, but it does provide that ability for you to be able to get around. And so whatever your needs are, wherever you are in the process, this is a really flexible option to be able to do that. We do also have other options. So if you look over here, kind of come this way with me, Johnny. Depending on where you are in your process and what's going on, we do have other options. So maybe right now you're still ambulatory, walking around, but want to use a scooter. You still have maybe your SUV, something like that. There are potentially different lift options that can help bring that stuff around with you. Again, our goal is to be able to help you to go be and live and do the things that you want to do for as long as you can and kind of meet you where you are along your path and what's going on. So I wanted to kind of show you, the minivan is really kind of, it does it at all stages. And it's a great option, but depending on where you are, we also want to give you what other additional options that are out there. So just wanted to be able to get a chance to show you that. Obviously, when you're here, we'll go through all of the different things. What's important to you? Does it have leather seats? Does it have blind spot monitoring? Does it have all of the safety features and things that you want for you and your family? And those are the things that we'll go through each individual with you and your family. But as you can see now, just some of the things that go into what makes it a conversion, and then we can go through those individual things and kind of the pricing and all that stuff with your vehicle. So with that being said, Johnny, I don't know, everything that I've kind of go over. Is there anything that you think that you want to add to that maybe I have missed?
The one thing that I would potentially add is, as we look at any kind of van option, what I would say is the greatest benefit of an accessible vehicle like one of these vans is you don't need to wait for any stage or any kind of mobility device that you're currently using to get one. One thing that I like working with families and individuals on is making sure they have a good option for today, tomorrow, next week, next month. If they're getting into a different mobility device, if their needs may change, it'll still be an option that works. So it's not something that, if they're not in a certain kind of scooter or power chair, you can't use a van. It doesn't matter what stage of any process that you're in, it's still an option that will always work. And if we do those fittings up front, we take measurements. Even if your device change that you're using, it's not something that you'll have to shift from. So if we do everything correctly up front and we answer all the options, the space inside should still work regardless of what kind of device you're in, whether you're ambulatory or not. If you're riding in a wheelchair transferring, it can still kind of shift and change with you. So that's what we like about the ability to shift the configurations there. So that's something that's really helpful as well.
Johnny or Sean, we have a question. First of all, I love how custom this process can be. I think that's just really personal, which is great. We do have a question that what is a turning automotive seat, and can I get one for like a large pickup truck?
That's a great question. So I'm actually going to go back and switch over here. So this is a turning automotive seat. So let's see if we'll check and make sure this battery is still working. But basically what the difference is, this seat is designed to go in SUVs, other vans, and it's designed just to help you in and out of the vehicle. It has nothing to do with your wheelchair. So if you're able to get your wheelchair in, so say you have a manual wheelchair that you can break apart or fold up and put in the trunk, but you just have a hard time getting in and out of the vehicle itself, then this would help you along the way. So it looks like the battery is working. So let's see if we can. So if you're looking at this would be the seat sitting inside the vehicle. And as you can see here, the seat actually pivots out, and it's a little bit slower. It's on a small battery, but as it's going out, it's going to actually come out of the vehicle and start lowering down to be able to be at the right height for you to transfer from your wheelchair. So there's a lot of different options, but this is a turning automotive seat. That is a potential option to be able to do that. And again, this is where we sit down with the family, because even these seats, it's not a cheap option to be able to put in the vehicle. So we want to look and say, hey, what is, what are we looking at time frame period, and kind of go from there. And so that way we can budget and find out what the right solution is.
Gotcha. That's awesome. And then, Sean, we do have another question. Can someone drive with just using only their hands?
Absolutely. Let me see. I'm going to try to walk into the shop here as we do that, but there are multiple different type of driving controls. There is a process through that. We're going to walk you through that. Is you do want to see a driving evaluator and find out what type of controls are going to work best for you. So what we've done is we've installed 10, 15 different style controls. Sorry, the technicians are out here listening to some motivation music to get going. So I'm gonna, so you meet with a driving evaluator, and we've installed 10 to 15 different types of controls in their vehicle, and you're going to find out what works best for you. So some people can rub their bellies and pat their head with one side, or vice versa. And so really it's kind of what your unique, what works for you. So let's see here. I'm going to swap this around. So this is a pretty common hand control. It's a mechanical hand control. This one is an Mps Hand Control. They're actually based here, still out of San Diego. If you push down, if you can look as I push down, it actually pushes, sorry, it's a little bit dark, but it actually moves the accelerator. And when I push forward for brake, it actually pushes the brake forward. So there's a lot of different types of controls, everything from a mechanical hand control like that to, I'll show you here in a second. We've got a customer that's driving their entire car with a joystick. So there's a lot of different things that go into that. This is a device right now. We're doing some custom work on this van where this person is a little bit too short. They're very short in stature, very short chair. They're still driving, and so we're trying to help them be in good driving position. So we're actually building a false floor in the van and doing some other things. So these are some unique things that we do that a lot of other companies may or may not do. But anyways, if you look here, this is a device that is mounted onto the floor that you would have a bracket that is mounted onto the bottom of your wheelchair. And so when you drive in your wheelchair, that locks it into place. So there are a couple different options with that. So that way your caregiver or loved one that's there has to do minimal work to be able to secure you and tie you down or make sure that you're safe in that vehicle. And since you did talk about that, this is kind of a cool one. So I'm going to go ahead and move it back around. Here's the other vehicle that I was telling you about. We're building it. This joystick actually controls the entire vehicle. That little touchpad over there, all of the other functions and features of the vehicle that normally would be accessed, we're putting all on that panel to be able to do that. So, we're really proud of all the different things that we can do. And, again, our goal and ability is to be able to provide people with independence, no matter what their needs are, no matter where they are in their life and what's changing. So.
That's great. Thank you. One other area is I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about reduced effort steering or braking.
Sure. So part of one of our companies, a subsidiary of our company, I should say, Built. We are one of two companies in the country that build reduced effort steering and reduced effort braking. So what that is if somebody doesn't have the physical strength or range of motion to be able to turn the steering wheel, we make it even easier. So essentially think of it like superpower steering. So you can literally turn it with your finger. So as things change or someone's needs change, we're able to make those modifications to continue to allow someone to drive. Because the other option is going to something like that joystick that's quite a bit more expensive. And so again, our goal is to find solutions, for someone throughout whatever their needs are.
Okay. Thank you for that, Sean. I appreciate the tour back there in the warehouse. That's pretty cool.
Of course. And actually, this is the other part where magic happens. So again, there's a lot of different options, whether it's full size vehicles, sprinters, different things. Like this one's built out. They take their vehicle off-roading and camping and be able to do that. So we really didn't talk about that, but there's a lot of different options. So it really depends on what are your goals, what are your needs, what does your family want, whether it's a minivan, full-size van, and really to be able to kind of match that, because this is your life. So we want to be able to support you to be able to do the things that you want to do.
That's great. A lot of options. So, yeah, a lot of customization that I didn't realize. And it sounds like from what you and Johnny were saying earlier too, that it's probably the best option to get in early, even if you're not ready to buy right away, but at least to come in to find out what those options are and kind of what the process looks like and what your needs might be. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that really is the best bet. The sooner you do it, the better, because you also have to be able to figure out and plan for it, because the last thing you want to do is look, oh man, how am I going to budget for that? So plan ahead. Let's be there. Let's help you through that process. And, along the way, some of the questions we ask, are there any other additional funding sources, that kind of stuff? And so at that point, we can try to help you through that process. Or if you're doing something like Help Hope Live or being able to raise money or do that, you have those goals. So you are able to do it, not, the day before, but so that you have it when you need it.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Can you just remind everyone maybe the best way to reach you? If someone wants to make a phone call, or what would be the best way to reach out to connect?
Yep. So just call into our office again at either 858-748-9414. Go onto our website at goldenboymobility.com or just email info@goldenboymobility. So anyway, someone's here to help you. Again, I want you to know that you're not alone in this process. We're here with you. We're here together with you.
I think you're on mute right now, Sean. I don't know if that was maybe there's a lot going on in the background. Keith is with us. Keith, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, if a person is shopping online and they run into like an AMS conversion or Rolex versus maybe the more known brands, do you have any comment on that?
Sean, you're still on mute. Let me see if I can. No.
There we go.
There it is.
How about-
There you go.
Okay, perfect. If you really want to shut me up, you can just say shut up. That's fine. Okay. So to answer your question, Keith, the world everybody's ordering online, Amazon, this and that. So, everybody wants things at their fingertips, and I can appreciate that. Believe me, I have more things at my door by the time I get home and I have no idea what my wife has ordered. But anyways, there is something to be said about trying to figure out and physically look, touch, and feel and figure out what's going to work for you, what's going to fit for you, et cetera. What Keith had mentioned, there's a couple of folks that's all they do is kind of you order a van online and it shows up at your door. A lot of those conversions don't have the backing and have the support of some of the major companies. So, like when you buy a Ford, you buy a Chevy, you buy a Honda, that you're getting that type of quality. And that if you take that to a dealer, they're going to stand behind those repairs, et cetera. So some of those online companies, they don't have a dealer network to be able to help fix or repair. And so their dealer network is, kind of take it wherever, and hopefully we can walk a mechanic through troubleshooting your problem and kind of go from there. And that's specifically with those vans that Keith had mentioned, like the Rolex or AMS or, that kind of stuff. Whereas Braun, VMI, and some of the bigger companies that are out there, those are the two major players. They have dealers that we send all of our technicians to specific training to be able to work on those. We even host some of the trainings here at our location. We've hosted one. to be able to make sure that we have technicians that can work on that and support that, and that you do get support, that if you have parts that are ordered and broken, that you get them in a relatively timely manner and that kind of stuff. So there are options that are out there. There's a couple of those vehicles that you can buy online, but it shows up at your door and you get what you get. And, you know, it's kind of a scary thought when you're spending 30, 40, 50, $70,000 on a car.
Well
Thank
said.
you. Hey, and then tell us the history of Golden Boy Mobility. My perception is, from being in the business and then with the disabled community for years, is that you seem to have an extremely loyal customer base. How long have you been in business, and is that perception correct?
Well, first, I'm going to say I really hope so. You know, our goal is to be able to really, we don't sell things. I mean, so if you're to look, Johnny is not a salesperson. He's a mobility consultant. Each person that's here truly cares about every one of our customers. And so we have been around for 44 years. It's a family-owned business. Gary Sr. started the company actually started working with his brother, and we started manufacturing a wheelchair lift. And this was in 1978. And the whole reason that we're called Golden Boy Mobility is he took on this wheelchair lift, and there were some problems from a different company that had it. And he found the issues and concerns and basically rebuilt that lift into a different lift. And someone had basically said, hey, you know, everything that you guys seem to touch seems to turn to gold. And they said, oh, let's call it the Golden Boy lift. And so sure enough, that name stuck. And so for 44 years later, we're still part of that legacy. We kind of some tidbit of information is we're the lowered floor van, not the minivan, but the lower floored full-size van. Gary Sr. is the one that got the entire conversion approved by the state of California, state of Texas, and taught other dealers across the country how to actually do that. So, you know, we've been a part of this industry for a long time, and our goal has been able to try to help people with disabilities and physical challenges to be able to do the things that they want to do, not just sell vehicles. This was far before the van sale was actually a part of it, but building seats, building different devices to be able to help drive and do that. So we've not only been a part of, you know, just the last few years of selling the vehicles, but we've been trying to, you know, build and invent things and things that can help people within this community. So on that side, we've been around a long time. You know, we've seen a lot throughout the time, and it's been a family-owned business. So, you know, Gary Jr. now runs the company. He started, he helped, I don't know if the labor laws are listening or whatever else, but he started working, you know, with his dad when he was 12 years old. So he's been around the business a lot, and it has seen a lot. And that kind of answer your question about, you know, our customers, et cetera. You know, I'll kind of take a step back and just show you, there's a couple pictures on our wall. There's Patrick Iveson, you know, huge proponent. He was one of our customers. He was injured when he was 14 months old, was run over in a parking lot, and one of the biggest proponents in the country, flew all over to help propose backup cameras, mandatory backup cameras before they became mandatory. So either way, if you look at the pictures that are on our wall, got Dwayne Norman. This is his race car that we help him continue to race and drive. Those are our customers. And so it's not just Getty images on the wall. These really are our customers and people that we care about. So when you ask us, you know, hey, do we have a loyal customer base and following? We hope so, because we hope that, you know, when you become a customer of ours, you become part of the family.
And I can vouch, Sean, first of all, thank you for sharing the history of the company, and it's family owned. And I learned a bit there too as well, which I really enjoy learning about that history of who you guys are. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been at this chapter for 2 years now, and Sean and Johnny are not, unfortunately, there's the stereotype of a used car salesperson, and Sean and Johnny are not that. I've learned to really get to know them and how much they genuinely care about their clients and customers, and, you know, the detail and the perfection and the just wanting to get it right for people. I just adore that with how they work and how they genuinely care about people. So Sean, on behalf of our staff and our community, we just want to say, you know, thank you very much for the attention to detail, the care, and the resource that you are for us. It's very much appreciated. You guys do great work. So thank you.
Well, you guys are amazing. And, you know, we're all a team here, and we couldn't do it without you half the time. And it's just, I don't know, it's great to be able to be a part of it and to be able to give back. And at the end of the day, you know, work is work. And, you know, people ask, you know, how was your day? And, you know, sometimes you go home and it was a long day and it was rough, but, you know, what we can both say is that each day we can make a difference in someone's life. And that's pretty powerful. So I'm just blessed that we all have that ability. And, you know, hopefully, you know, for all of you guys that are out there and listening, you know, hopefully there's a way that we can help you and try to find a way to help make your life a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sean, and thanks for being with us today. Thanks for your time and just sharing all the tips and tricks, and you being a guru in the industry. It's really helpful for us to be able to, you know, share this so that it can make a difference, really make the process a lot easier for those who are ready to look into purchasing a van, and if it's the right timing for them or not. So thank you for your time. Thanks for being with us, and just enjoy the holidays, everyone. Thank you for being with us today. If you ever need anything, please get a hold of us. If you need anything from Golden Boy Mobility, they're there willing to help. Contact our chapter. On behalf of Steve and Keith, Leanne and Eric, and myself, we're here for you, and happy holidays to everyone. Take care, and we hope to hear from you soon. Okay, Sean, thanks again.
Happy holidays.
See you later.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.